Good evening and welcome to Ek Samvad at Aruni Mankuran. Today we are in conversation with the President, Indian Society of Health, Safety and Environment Professionals. Our guest is Dr. S.P. Garg. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. He is a doctorate in Safety Management Systems from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun, MBA from Sikkim Manipal University, BE from Nagpur University. A few things about Aruni Mankuran. Aruni Mankuran is an initiative for positive social change through self-development. So the goal is greater well-being and happiness for all. And this can come through self-development. Each person is unique and special in some way, and each one of us can make a difference and be change makers. Today it's a privilege for us to have Dr. S.P. Garg on Ek Samvad. It was very difficult for me to summarize Sir's achievements. He's the advisor HSE at GAIL India Limited, co-chair of FICCI Committee on Disaster Management, member Board of Governors, National Safety Council, President Indian Society of Health, Safety and Environment Professionals, former corporate head and executive director HSE, GAIL India, fire and safety engineer with 36 plus years of work experience, a recipient of President's Fire Service Medal for Meritorious Service, and fellow member, Institution of Engineers, Kolkata. So we are going to talk to Dr. S.P. Garg about the milestones of his journey as a professional, some incidents that became lessons in terms of ethics, values, principles, integrity, some learnings, some examples of leadership at work from his own perspective as a leader. And they say a stitch in time saves nine. So do organizations need to build a good organizational safety culture for business sustainability? We'll talk about that. What should young people focus on to become industry ready? And if he could change the way our educational institutions work, what would be his focus and what would he like to see changing? So with that, sir, welcome to Ek Samvad once again. It's a privilege to have you here.
Thank you so much.
We'd like to start off with your journey, the milestones of your journey as a professional in the HSE industry, sir.
Right. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me to talk to you on the various milestones and various learnings which I have gathered throughout my life.
Yes, sir.
So, as you said about the milestones of my career, although I started my career from the oil industry, and in fact, I completed 36 years working in the oil industry, upstream and downstream companies. And I held various positions of fire safety officers, fire safety manager, senior manager, and all. But I feel that the first milestone of my career was the one when I was appointed as a head of the department for a large, I would say, mega petrochemical plant of GAIL India Limited, which was coming up. It was during construction stage itself, during 1997. The challenges were very high because when you talk about a petrochemical plant, it's a highly hazardous unit. It has various kinds of gases and chemicals which are highly hazardous. Gases like hydrogen, ethylene, propane, these are all highly hazardous gases, and once they get released into the atmosphere, they can cause a lot of harm. They can even lead to a disaster. So a plant having such chemicals, and then the operating conditions where the temperature rose varied from on say minus side 160 degrees and plus side up to 850 degrees. So that much difference in the temperature range of the operating plants,
Mhm.
and that different low pressure, high pressure, and other things. So, working as head of a department of fire safety was a huge challenge, and that I feel was a first milestone that which came up in my career, and I'm happy to share that in my career, and the plant was commissioned quickly, and throughout the journey, in fact, it had also met certain, it had created certain records of sorts, like
Mhm.
it was first time that a gas-based petrochemical plant was commissioned on one furnace. It has a very
Mhm.
important component called furnace. So generally, when you start commissioning such plants, you have
Mhm.
to operate two furnaces and then test the entire thing. But
Mhm.
the colleagues and the team, they worked very hard, and they did a lot of innovation. So in the world itself, the first petrochemical plant which was commissioned safely on single furnace. And thereafter, when we established the safety management system there and the fire protection system, the fire water network of which was laid inside the petrochemical plant, initial days, it was about 26 kilometers long, of
Mhm.
different sizes fire water pipelines to fight the fires,
Mhm.
which was again over the period it got increased to 50 kilometers pipeline network. So that
Mhm.
entire network needs to be maintained in such a way that in case of any emergency, you can start taking pressure, you can start taking water out of that network at different point wherever you need at a certain
Mhm.
pressure. So to
Mhm.
maintain it, maintain the fire water pump house, there is a large number of pumps, dedicated fire water reservoir, then fire hydrants, fire monitors to take out the water. All this it requires a lot of efforts, and with the a very efficient and capable team, we could do that. Capable team, we could do that. And finally, when we started when inviting the external experts to come and judge how we have fared, uh, we invited British Safety Council UK, and we also participated in one of the competition, which is renowned competition worldwide, wherein
Mhm.
we got the Sword of Honor from the
Wow.
British Safety Council.
Congratulations, sir.
So that was
Belated though.
one of the milestone. Thank
Mhm.
you. That was for the information and for the setup. That was one, and then thereafter there were a couple of them. Like I will talk about one incident which happened at that very petrochemical plant during commissioning, which was a I would say disaster saved. And then
Mhm.
came up in 2002 when I got the President's Medal of Meritorious Services. So that was a milestone, I would say. Then I was featured in one of the corporate ad from GAIL India in
Mhm.
2006. It was a half-page newspaper size half-page ad which was featured on me, and I was privileged and I'm grateful to the organization that that ad
Wonderful.
was came up, and it came up in leading magazines also in English and Hindi. Then thereafter, after working so many years in the field, in 2011 I was posted. In fact, 2006 I came to the corporate office, and 2011 when I was given the responsibility of heading corporate HSC function, corporate health safety environment across the country. So GAIL has large network of pipelines, more than 12,000 kilometers of natural gas pipelines and 2,000 plus LPG pipelines, then six LPG recovery plants, petrochemical plant. So entire system was to be headed and was to be actually steered from the corporate office. So that was another milestone, and I felt happy about that. Then we did couple of initiatives we took here in the working corporate office along with the team. And in 2013, we took a gas sector in India. realize that incidents keep happening here and there, in spite of having best of technology with us, best of people, best of processes with us. So where was the gap? Then that time we realized we in fact invited a external expert from UK
Mm-hmm.
and arranged a session of our board of directors and chairman to discuss what are the gaps, what could be the gaps in our safety management system.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of having addressing the behavior of people, which is a
Yes.
science called behavior-based safety, a new
Hmm.
term. So that was the outcome of that discussion of 2 hours. That you should bring in the behavioral intervention in the company, which encourages people towards the safe working.
Hmm.
So Gail took that initiative, and we decided that across Gail we will take it to each nook and corner. All the installations we will cover at a time. I mean, not at a time, in a phased manner. In fact, first we took it up to the GPUs, that is gas processing units, then petrochemical plant, and then pipeline installations.
Hmm.
That time in 2013, we made a baseline study that let us study where we stand today. How is the safe behavior at our sites? So the third party measured that about 65% safe behaviors could be seen at our sites.
Hmm.
That means about 35% unsafe behaviors or uh, behavior at risk behavior. So we decided that we will tackle it, and maybe within a 3 to 4 years time, we will try to reach to 90% plus levels.
Hmm.
So we started this initiative. We took on ourselves that corporate group of HSE will steer this whole project, and we started reaching to the various sites. We established a small setup there on PBS. We trained the created lead trainers who can further train the employees how to
Hmm.
make the observations, how to correct the unsafe behavior. All that was placed, and various protocols were written. What will be the role of the local steering committee, which is headed by the project head, and how after how many say months or so meetings will happen. All those things were written, and then we started rolling it out at each site one by one.
Hmm.
And then we did extensive work in it, and the part was that after 3 years time we again surveyed that what is the
Hmm.
result, what is the outcome of all
Hmm.
that work
Hmm.
which was done. And in 3 years time we could reach to 90% plus levels.
From 65.
That was a huge achievement. Yeah, from 65.
Hmm.
And that was a huge achievement, and when entire oil and gas industry sort of they were not believing it that okay it is possible, because other organizations also tried to implement it, but they could do one at one of their sites, say one of the refineries somebody has rolled out BS, but not across the company,
Hmm.
taking all business segments together. So that was a big achievement, and then that was a lot of motivation for us. And the happy moment was that the IIM Indore, they took up a study on us that how
Wow.
you have transformed the behavior of your people, and they
Hmm.
wrote a case study
Hmm.
which then later got published in Ivy Publishing UK for the
Wow.
business schools.
That's great,
So
sir. Wonderful.
that was a great achievement for the team, and we were so happy that we could do that. And thereafter, other oil industries they started coming to us. They consulted us that how you did, share your experiences, and on these forums we shared very happily our experiences. So these were a few, and then later on some awards came up automatically. Then one of the OSHA's foundation they gave me lifetime safety award in 2019. Another governor of Telangana, she gave me the award, a safety award during again 2019. This was recommended by Institution of Engineers.
Hmm.
And then finally, I got the PhD also done. The
Yes.
parallel work which I was doing that came up in November 2019, and the PhD was awarded, wherein our Honorable Vice President of India, he was there in the convocation in the Dehradun.
Congratulations, sir. That is, I think, it's just wonderful. Uh, Please carry on, yes.
Yeah, just two more points before I finish this.
Mhm.
Uh, Thereafter, we thought that we should maintain our leadership position in the field of HSC in the entire oil and gas sector. So 2017, we convinced our management that there is no harm in spending some money and
Mhm.
giving a platform to the entire oil and gas industry. We can where they can share their technical ideas.
Hmm.
So we took a lead and organized the oil and gas HSC conclave. That was first edition in 2017. With a lot of course, it was 2 days conclave, and there were 8 to 10 technical sessions and parallel sessions also. An
Mhm.
entire oil industry participated, and the participants were more than 400 participants. It
Mhm.
was done in the one of the good hotel here in Noida, and that was extremely successful and highly satisfying because we got
Mhm.
very good feedback from the industry. And based on that feedback, they said, "Ki, why don't you do it again next year? Not the next year, but then 2019.
Mhm.
Again, we did it in December 2019. The second edition of Oil and Gas HSC Conclave was done. And uh, I mean, it was a grand success. Absolutely. And the
Wonderful.
last point which I want to make, which was very satisfying, was that after having introduced the BBS concept in the organization, it started giving results, as I mentioned. And 17, 16, 17 onwards, continuously 3 years, 3 financial years across the GAIL, there was not a single reportable incident.
Wonderful.
And we
Wow.
measure, yeah, and we measure safe working hours. So we crossed during this time 100 million man hours of safe working, which is probably the highest ever in oil and gas sector. So
Congratulations, sir.
this is what.
That is absolutely
Thank you.
brilliant, and it is so amazing to realize that we are talking about lives, right?
Yeah,
So this is
absolutely.
really amazing. Congratulations to you and your team, sir. You've worked
Thank
with
you, sir.
so many different people. So when you talk to them, what are some of the things that in your own personality come to the fore naturally to you as a leader?
Hmm. Uh, yes. As a leader and as a professional, two
Yes,
parts we can talk about it.
yes.
As a leader, it's always the empathy comes first. That if you want to take your team along, you should always show empathy
Hmm.
with them and don't hesitate in pointing out the mistakes. That's what I feel. People sometimes I observe they try to play goody goody and
Hmm.
don't correct them because sometimes you don't like okay somebody is pointing out your mistakes.
Hmm.
But I used to always point out the mistakes and try to correct them. And at the same time, whenever even the smallest good thing done by them, good work done by them, that should be appreciated on the face of them and on the face of others. And the you try to find out a small achievement by the team and then celebrate it. The small successes must be celebrated and they should be acknowledged. Okay, they have done this job. We had a scheme of uh, making suggestions.
Hmm.
Of course, it's a Gale-wide scheme. It's not only limited to HSC area, but that scheme also encourages employees to come forward, give their suggestions, and even the small suggestion, if it makes slight difference to a say process, a
Hmm.
working style, or it improves your efficiency, then
Hmm.
that is acknowledged immediately in the form of some appreciation. So I think that is very important. Now, second part of it, as a professional, whenever I talk to my colleagues in HSC department or even operation maintenance and the fire and safety departments. See, this work is little like policing work. The colleagues who are in the field, because you have to again point out, okay, this job you are not doing safely, this is not the correct method, or you are not following safety rules. So one has to point it out, and nobody likes pointing out no, the mistakes pointing out by them. And sometimes they are overconfident. No, no, we have been doing this for years. Who are you to tell all this? So I always tell my colleagues that that time you have to show your professional strength, and then you have to be firm, but at the same time polite. So politeness and firmness together can work. If you are firm, but if you are not polite, you are firm at the same time you are arrogant, nobody is going to hear you. But if you are polite and you are firm, you are sticking to your principles. You are politely telling them this is the rule. These are the implications of making shortcut. Then, if not today, tomorrow they will understand. And the same very people who are not happy with your comments that time, they will praise you behind you if the job is done successfully and safely. So, in my profession, I feel this is very, very important for my colleagues, young colleagues, to note that they should stick to their work, and then they should be thorough on their work as well. They should do a lot of study. They should not limit themselves to whatever has been read in the academics. But then there are other means. They should collaborate with so many institutions all around. They should collaborate with the senior professionals through various bodies, and they should participate. They should try to prepare some technical papers. When you present a technical paper, it's not only that you are presenting your viewpoints, you also interact with the similar professionals, and you learn a lot. Even today, when I say talk in a webinar, it's an opportunity for me to learn also, to understand their perspective, to understand their point of view, and it is always enriching. So I think these are the points I wanted to make.
Yeah, wonderful. So I think what you said about feedback and about being assertive, that's very valuable input for anyone who's looking at leadership roles. So are there any specific incidents from your own experience that have stayed with you? Like, all of us have certain stories that we repeat over and over and share with youngsters. So would you like to share
Yeah.
something from your experience?
Yes, certainly. Being in such a profession, firefighting or saving somebody's life or rescue, these are all challenging. At the same time, they are very satisfying to the individual as well.
Hmm.
In the entire journey of 30 years, I had so many occasions of tackling huge fires or gas leakages, LPG tankers during the Vijaypur major plant of Gas Authority, GAIL India Limited, which is headquarter of our pipelines also, and it is situated on the Agra-Bombay highway. So there are a lot of LPG tankers passing by, and many tankers are also getting LPG filled from our sites. At times, these tankers topple down on the roads. So I would like to share one incident which was quite challenging. It happened right on the Agra Bombay highway, and it happened on a petrol pump. There was a place called Rutiai, which was about 6 to 8 kilometers. I think about 8 kilometers. I think about 8 kilometers away from the plant. We got a call in the evening that one of the LPG tanker, is badly leaking, and it is stationed at the petrol pump. So there is a petrol pump and there is a LPG tanker. The two risks together, and that petrol pump is by the side of highway. That is another third risk. And the fourth risk is that constituency, that area was belonging to the that time Chief Minister, Mr. Digvijay Singh, and he was to go somewhere. So under those circumstances, when Gail got a call, that time I was deputy manager probably. Yes, I was deputy manager. So I also went along with the firefighting team. And when we reached the site, we asked them to immediately stop the highway, because if you are tackling that kind of incident, then traffic cannot be on. So from that petrol pump, about 50-meter other side, both the sides, the traffic was stopped. But there was a very, very small skeleton of police people, one or two persons were there. What we saw was that a tanker which was standing there, it did not have its horse. Horse means the front portion, engine side. That fellow had taken that for repairs. And this only tanker backside portion which had the LPG full, it was standing there on the stand support system, and that started leaking.
Oh.
So when we reached, so first we stopped the traffic. The second hazard we saw that just above the tanker there was a high tension power line,
Oh my God.
high tension electric power line that was also just above the tanker. A peculiar situation. So anyway, we asked them to anything we do before you shut the get the power line shut. Third, the just behind the petrol pump, there were some people residing there. So those people were asked to vacate the area. And then we asked our LPG plant that they should send the empty LPG tanker along with the transfer pump, which was available that time. And uh, after trying to stop the leakage by applying certain M seal and other equipment, which is a sealed leak seal kit, uh, we saw that leakage is still on. Then we decided that the LPG will have to be transferred. So LPG we started transferring, and some amount of LPG, 1 ton or so, could be transferred in one of the tanker. But then thereafter, after the gravity, it transfers with gravity only. After pressure equalization, rest of the LPG you can't push. So that time it was decided that LPG has to be vented out in the atmosphere because there is no option. So we made the arrangement to vent out LPG, because LPG once it comes out, it expands to 300 times its volume. So the entire area will be full with LPG. So we had to make sure that there is no single spark in that area. Nobody uses BD cigarette or anything, and that process. We started taking all precautions. What happened in between? These tanker people, the truck drivers and the bus drivers who had collected on the highway, they started getting impatient. A lot of people started gathering, and one or two vehicle they just passed by.
Oh.
So as a leader of the firefighting unit, I had to take immediate decision that I had to abandon this operation if the police cannot make the arrangements. So I immediately contacted by my plant in charge, and I said I have 20-25 people with me. We are doing all which is whatever was possible, but at our own risk, our own life risk. So unless you make sure that a sufficient number of police people are there and there is no movement on the road, we cannot continue with this operation. I am stopping. I am abandoning because I cannot put my people at risk.
Right.
And taking this hard stand, he also realized, yes, your stand was right. He immediately talked to the higher police authorities, and it took some time for them to arrange that, about half an hour or so. But we waited patiently. We didn't do any activity during that time. And when sufficient amount of police came and the traffic was again stopped, and I was satisfied that okay, it can be done safely, then we did that activity safely, and that took few hours, rather many hours to because it is expanding. So the entire volume you can't release just like that. It takes time. So that was one highly challenging situation which was overcome and safely it could be done. Another incident, if you like me to share, if you have time, then I can share one more incident. That is of the petrochemical plant. During those days, 1999, when petrochemical plant of first plant of GAIL, which I earlier mentioned, a highly hazardous plant, one of the unit called gas processing unit was under commissioning. That means new facilities getting established. And parallelly, another plant which is called gas cracker unit, where you have furnaces, which I was mentioning, and you have one cold section, one hot section. The hot section temperatures go up to 850 degrees, and the cold section temperatures go up to minus 165 degrees. That furnace was also under firing, under trial, and it so happened that the gas processing unit, which was under commissioning, uh, one of the process column, which was called demethanizer column, its safety valve popped. No, it's not only popped, it's the pipe which was holding the safety valve got sheared off, it got broken off. And at minus 105-degree temperature, the entire hydrocarbon, liquid hydrocarbon along with vapors started coming out at a height of about, say, 20 meters or so. So that was threatening the full bore the full bore 6-inch dia pipeline, giving out the hydrocarbon release, which was going to cover entire plant, and the wind was flowing toward the furnaces. So that was drifting toward the furnace where already temperatures were high. This happened early morning. I was under deep sleep because the earlier day, the previous night, there was Kavi Sammelan in the township. And the township was about 6 kilometers away, and it was late evening. And then this happened in the early morning, around I think 6:30 or so. So I got a call at home, and my missus said he was an urgent call. We went to talk to them, and they said कि साहब लाइन फट गया, एक हाइड्रोकार्बन का लाइन फट गया और वहां से बहुत जबरदस्त लीक हो रहा है, आप तुरंत आइए. तो देन आई सेड कि ठीक है, जो फायर सेफ्टी शिफ्ट इंचार्ज से बात कराइए. आई टॉक टू हिम, ही वाज इन पैनिक. I told him कि if this is the situation, don't take fire tender. You should go, your crew should just rush like that on foot. Don't take fire tender there. And try to cover the entire plant with as much possible with water spray, so that this liquid hydrocarbon at minus temperature, which is going up in the form of cloud all over, should not get a spark. Single spark can blow up the entire plant, and it will risk the lives of 70-80 people who were there in the plant and the next plant. And parallelly, immediately I took my own vehicle and rushed to the plant. Within 7-8 minutes, I reached to the plant because it was emergency, and straightway rushed to the site, talked to the plant people, and then we did whatever best possible to cover the entire plant through water spray. And in fact, first floor level, we have pressure safety valve, we call it. There also we utilized our all hydrant outlets, water monitors, and everything, and the entire plant was covered. We were there around 20-25 people of fire services, and then rest of the operating people. And slowly the operating people started depressurizing the whole thing. So within a period of about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, the situation was controlled. And the irony was, without naming anybody or without blaming anybody, irony was that when me and my team were coming out and planning to go back home after completion, the unit in charge of that unit, that plant, was coming in. He said कि okay sir आप लोगों ने अच्छा काम किया. But the good part was as soon as I reached home, my overall plant in charge, that time executive director, he called me up.
Hmm.
He said, "You people have saved a disaster, and please give your a name of you and your team who can be rewarded." Then and there, that kind of motivation he gave us.
Yes.
So this has become a I would say lifelong experience for me, and I always cherish handling that kind of emergency successfully and getting. I think probably the president medal was also came up after that.
Wow. Well deserved indeed, sir. And I think आपने जो अभी बताया उसको सुन के मुझे लग रहा है कि if anybody is looking at joining this particular sector, dealing with stress is a very important skill that they should try to develop and train themselves at. So,
I agree.
so we just heard some examples of how you have, dealt with so many challenging situations. If I was to ask you to, sort of define your own leadership and how you look at leadership within the organization, you've risen to such great heights from starting young. So, what would you say? Like, what are some of the experiences that you'd like to talk about?
I feel self-discipline and self-belief are very important.
Mhm.
You during the uh, discharge of your duties, you will face so many difficulties. At times, in the course of 36 years, I had so many bosses. Sometimes your boss doesn't understand you, so that becomes also a serious problem.
Mhm.
So you automatically develop over the period how to tackle individuals. If you and secondly, if you are right, you have self belief and you know your intentions are correct, then sooner or later your boss will also realize. This I realized even at a senior level
Hmm.
that one of the gentlemen he was not happy with my style of working. Uh, I think strategically, when I noticed this point in particular, then I little bit took a back seat, and the person whom he was liking, I gave him the front seat. I said, "Okay, you be the steerer, and I'll be at the back." I was there all along, and then I kept little back seat, and that worked. That worked wonders.
Hmm.
I think within a period of 6 months to 1 year, I was again on the front seat with the same gentleman,
Hmm.
and so much so that he started saying that you are the most trusted person. So, I mean, you can change with your persistence, with your right work, with your right intentions, and with no nonsense approach, with self discipline. The people will realize it, and they will start appreciating your work. I have no doubt in it.
Wow. This is so wonderful to listen to you talking about leadership, sir, and thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure some youngsters who will be listening in will learn so many lessons from what you've just told us. Um, for the lay person, the health, safety, environment is still a very far away thing. We don't really understand it so much, but we all understand that a stitch in time saves nine. So, do organizations need to build a safety culture for business sustainability? Could you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. I mean, this is my most favorite topic. These days, I talk on this topic a lot. In fact, on 9th of August this year, I was on DD News in one
Mhm.
of the panel discussions. There also this question was asked that how the incident accidents can be reduced in the
Hmm.
chemical plants. Then there also I mentioned actually it's very important for the organizations to realize that they need to develop a good safety culture in the organizations if they want to avoid the incident accidents. It cannot be a quick fix. It cannot be a shortcut method. It has to be you have to devote certain time, resources, and the die-hard desire of the top leadership is very, very important to bring such culture. Had I not had the blessings of the top management, the chairman and director, we could not have got the DBS concept in Gale. Not at all.
Hmm.
I remember very clearly those days also, one of the gentlemen of the level of general manager, he showed a lot of resistance. He said, in my this units, my pipelines, I will not be able to introduce this.
Hmm.
So while he was talking to the director said, "No, you will have to do it." He said, "Sir, no, I can't do it." He said, "Okay, what you do, you go to Garg, you sit with him for 1 hour, have a cup of tea, and then tell me." So that fellow was sent by director to my office, and with due regards to him, he sat with me, and I cleared his all doubts why he should implement this in his within his jurisdiction, whereas entire Gale minus him they had agreed and implemented. So it took quite a while for me to convince him, but then when he left my office, he was convinced and he assured me, yes, now I will start doing it.
Hmm.
So one has to realize this, that building the organizational safety culture is the most important part. You can have good safety management system, you can have good safety professionals with you,
Hmm.
but they alone cannot do wonders. No, it has to get buying in of the all the employees, all the stakeholders together. For that, you should have such a culture. For example, people say when you travel in metro in Delhi, then all people are disciplined. They automatically comes in because the environment is like that. So
Hmm.
if you develop a culture where safety rules regulations are diligently followed,
Hmm.
before every meeting you start with safety, you review the safety management system, how the things are being complied, the top management is involved, the leadership at all levels are involved, even carrying out any activity, they first talks, okay, you have to carry out this job, but
Hmm.
you have to also ensure that the job is done safely.
Hmm.
That kind of message has to come. If that comes continuously over a period of 3 to 5 years, then you develop a system, a culture, wherein a new person joins, he automatically gets mingled into that. He knows these
Yes.
are the rules of the game. I
Hmm.
have to follow this.
Hmm.
So automatically you will find a drastic reduction in the incident and accidents, and people develop a culture wherein they don't hide. Number one, they don't hide an incident. Rather, the reporting of, we call it near miss incident, where there was a incident about to happen, it didn't happen. So you capture that and take lesson out of it. If
Hmm.
what could go wrong, what
Yes.
what saved us,
Yeah.
so that if you take out lessons, then the real incident will not happen.
Hmm.
So develop that kind of culture in the organization, and talk about these at every moment. So once that happens, the incident accidents will not be happening. Automatically they will die.
So there is a very major role for training, education, awareness, all this combined, I think.
Yes, yes, certainly. There is a major role in having a overall good safety management system. Your all processes should be smart, IT enabled processes. Your workforce should be aware, they should be well trained and well facilitated. Your all processes should be on IT enabled platform, for example, on over SAP. It's not that operation and maintenance you are very smart, but when it comes to a safety process, reporting of an incident, then you do it very casually. If you follow that, then things cannot improve. You have to make your safety processes also smart, at par with the main business processes. So once that happens, automatically things will improve. For example, we have safety kiosk, we have safety work permit system which is online.
Hmm.
People can take a work permit on the mobile. So all these initiatives you have to bring in to develop a good culture. I mean, you have to also facilitate the people, not that just talking. You have to facilitate them. Maybe we developed a safety app which was given to each employee.
Okay.
So all the procedures, all the processes are available easily.
Hmm.
Then we made some animated films.
Hmm.
If an activity has to be done repeatedly at a one side, then okay, this activity involves 10 steps. We call it safe operating practice, SOP we call it.
Right.
Now you have standard operating practice. So you
Hmm.
have written that practice, but then the person who is operator, if he is not conversant, he is not familiar or conversant, he is not rather master on that, then he is likely to commit mistakes.
Hmm.
Accidents will happen. So to avoid that, we started making the animated films where we captured the entire process
Hmm.
and say 10 steps one by one. Okay, show
Right.
the operator again and again and again,
Hmm.
and ask him, okay, what are the steps? Without seeing film, he should be able to speak out.
Hmm.
Also, we started undertaking from these operators that they have understood the SOP in
Hmm.
their own language. We start taking written undertaking in 6 months or 1 year.
Hmm.
So there are certain ways and means. Then you start whenever you modify these SOPs. These are not sacrosanct for the time all the time memorial. So you need to keep them revisiting 6 months, 1 year. So that time involve these ground level, field level people, operators, give your suggestions because they are the best people to know. And when you involve them, their buy-in improves. They also understand that okay, we are important,
Hmm.
and their understanding of the process also improves. So that is how these small steps over a period build a good organization culture. And then the leadership is of course very important, as I was mentioning before. Top leadership has to walk the talk. He cannot just say, "Ki, okay, I have delegated somebody else." No, he has to walk the talk.
Hmm.
Every meeting he has to start with reviewing the safety preparedness. What are the gaps? We started monthly safety day system
Hmm.
where in half day the mandate was given by the top management that half day of 10th of every month,
Hmm.
every site, we had 29 major sites, every site in charge will sit with their HODs and review only safety half day agenda. That agenda is given to them. Under these heads you have to review, and then they have to report gets compiled at the corporate office, and an HSC score is given to each site every month,
Hmm.
and that score gets compiled and the
Ah.
Gales scores comes out.
Okay.
And over a period, that becomes my KPI as a HOD of
Hmm.
corporate HSC to maintain certain level. Say 95 plus percentage of HSC score should come.
Hmm.
So these things were there, and then to further motivate the sites to take the leadership in this area, we had a annual CMD HSC trophy. So
Wow.
annual we used to carry out an exercise to evaluate how is the HSC performance of each site. There
Hmm.
will be two-level committees who will
Hmm.
make the assessment and allot certain marks. Based on that, there will be competition. Finally, whoever scores highest, they get the CMD from the hands of CMD trophy from the hands of CMD himself.
Hmm.
So
There
that
is
is
a
how
reward mechanism in place also to
that is
wonderful.
how we could make that kind of culture where people started taking interest and they started participating.
Hmm.
As a result, only you could avoid having incident accidents because otherwise, avoid having incident accidents. Key.
In fact, I think, sir, it would be a very challenging thing because हम लोग के on the streets you can see, people who अपने elbow पे helmet टांग के चलते हैं, policeman को देख के they wear it. So our mindsets are not really in that direction, We are, I think this is really important. The education and awareness part which you have just shared is very valuable.
Yes.
So,
They say that if you want to change somebody's behavior, as you were mentioning that they carry helmet on their hand, the research says that if you want to change somebody's behavior, because behavior is a manifestation of your attitude, values, which you have built over the years. So it cannot be changed overnight. So you have to make at least repeated intervention at least six
mm,
times. The study says At
Yes.
least consistently, when behavior-based safety was being taught, this was mentioned that 6 times you have to go and talk to that gentleman and tell him, please don't do it. These are the advantages of working safely. So then there is likelihood that that behavior may get changed permanently. It still may get changed.
Yeah.
It's not easy to change somebody's behavior.
Yeah, and positive reinforcement is also a very important part of the whole process of behavior modification. Yes. So there are a lot of young engineers, fire and safety engineering कर रहे हैं जो बच्चे, young students. So
जी.
what would you like to share with them? So to become industry ready, what are some of the things that they can train themselves at beyond the academics?
Yeah. In fact, what happens when you are in academics? You just focus on your books, your lectures.
Hmm.
But it will be a good idea, especially when you are maybe second, third year of suppose you are doing engineering 4 years program. Then second year onward, at least you start is where you get in touch with the industry professionals. Industry academia interface is very important, and today there are so many opportunities available. Who are willing to come forward, people like us are ready to share our experiences. So some kind of initiative has to come from the youngsters.
So, if you could change the way our educational institutions work, what would be the things you would like to focus on?
I would like to focus more on the practical part, because with my experience I have come to know that a chemical engineer doesn't know about the process safety management. He knows all about how to operate a plant, how to maintain it, but how the process safety factors, the safe operation, that is not known, that is not taught. And in fact, one of my colleague from CCPS, Center for Chemical Process Safety USA,
Mhm.
he is leading the process safety actually best organization. He also mentioned
Hmm.
that chemical engineer coming out from the college doesn't know about ABCD of the process safety, which is very, very surprising. Similar way, a safety engineer coming out would not know what is BBS, behavior based safety,
Hmm.
which is very important component. So I think these practical inputs need to be there in the syllabus, in the curriculum. Today, in fact, in one of the other webinar, I was talking to one of the NITI professor who NITI Mumbai. They have first time brought in this ABS as one of the elective subjects for their students.
Hmm.
So the changes are happening, but these are required actually. Same way, the practical inputs also need to be given to the youngsters, to the students. They should not only be limited to the books. They should be given certain project wherein they have to interact with the industry. Out of say 6 months semester, 1 month should be spent on interaction with the industry, industrial visits, working on some projects, and that evaluation like that. So that will make the students industry ready once they are, and it will also broaden their horizon, their thinking. That once they complete their academics, they would be in a better position to give the results, desired results to the industry or wherever they are working.
Hmm.
So I think this is one area which I always feel that academicians should always feel that academic to improve it.
Uh, that was a wonderful conversation with you, sir. Enriching in so many ways. Thank you so much for joining us on Ek Samvad today. And it was indeed a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you.